All right, everybody, welcome to the daily call for the expired and seller leads here. And if you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, X, LinkedIn, we are also on Zoom where you can participate with us. So if you got any questions, let me know. But we did the call this morning on using the listing presentation, and we went through the listing presentations, flip books, and PDFs. We went through uh, canceled, expired, and FSBO. And oh my gosh, so many people are putting listings in the contract. Gwen this morning had a meeting with the FSBO, which was awesome. And so we got the FSBO booklet, and I'm going to show you because we got a couple of weeks left, and I want you to make sure that you get these ordered. And if you haven't ordered these yet, you're going to want to. These are the exact booklets that Scott Murray used to put $2.7 million into contract in 3 days. So $32 million producer put almost, can you imagine putting almost 10% of your last year's sales into contract in 3 days? So let me get this link. I'm going to go ahead and put this into the Zoom because it takes like about a week to get these ordered. So try and get your orders in. You're going to see there's a setup, and then you can order the booklets in mass. And we had a few people, man. They're like through 50 of them already. So they're doing almost like one a day. And let me pop that into the Zoom as well. Give me a second here. I'm going to bring up the chat. And there is the text. Let me grab the link. And then I'm going to review a little bit because there are some questions from the call this morning that I thought were really good that I hadn't had before. All right. So if you're back at our homepage here, right? JJ, 4 listings in 6 weeks. John Summers, dude, this guy right now. Okay. So he, day one, connected with a homeowner that was expired. And the homeowner wanted to relist at a little bit of too high of a price. And so they went back and forth. To John's credit, John wouldn't take the seller wanted to go at. And they went back and forth for a few weeks. John was giving him some market updates, letting him know what was going into contract, what was selling, letting him know how his home compared with that. And he just listed the property last week for $925,000, his highest price listing ever, and which is awesome. And the full interview I did with him is right here. And the interview was actually a little bit before he actually got the listing signed. But I think that says a lot because it can be easy to take a high price listing, and that is not good for you or for the homeowner in the long run. It's not even that great in the short run, except for it's a little bit exciting. You got a listing. Okay, great. But I give John a lot of credit right there for really being an advisor to the homeowner. All right. As an advisor, we don't, if you're a CPA, do you let your client take bad write-offs? If you're a lawyer, do you let your client take a bad plea? No, we don't. We try to make sure that we are looking out in the best interest of these people, even though we don't have a listing agreement signed. We still need to act as if they are a client of ours, because once that contract is signed, we're going to be on the hook with them. And I would rather have a client that respects me and is going to refer people to me versus a pissed off client. All right, that's going to be looking at me sideways when I told him I could get his home sold at $1,200,000. I don't know what they wanted initially. I believe it was north of $1 million. And so John got them down to 925, which was awesome for him. And then he also just sent the email, which I'm going to show you here in a minute. If you haven't sent this email yet, you're going to want to get it out. Gwen also sent the email and got a listing appointment, but John sent this email and he's got another listing appointment for $895, which is amazing. And he did an open house with our Facebook lead ads at Listings to Leads, and the AI text followed up. He wrote an offer that was accepted for $500,000 and is going to close 1230. So he's got let's just say 1,800, 2.3 million. So $500,000 in escrow, $925,000 listing, and the 895 was from the email that he's got the listing appointment for on Saturday, and he's already talked to the homeowner. It looks pretty good. And here's a quick little from Scott Murray talking about door knocking. All right, so he was door knocking 3 days, $2.7 million in the pipeline. You got two buyers, and this is what's interesting. Especially if you're door knocking, in particular if you're door knocking, I always tell people for expireds, you want to start at least at expireds that are 2 months old and work your way backwards. Take a look at the new ones. All right. But the new ones are being inundated with agents calling them every single day for a few days. And then after a while, it starts tapering off. And so, at about the 2 month mark, and for Scott Murray, he was actually targeting expireds that were 6 months or older for the 3 days he did, the first 3 days where he did door knocking. And at two of the homes, there were renters that were in there. And so he told me the first renter that he was with or that he met, he didn't know what to say because it would kind of surprised him that there was a renter in there. So he walked away and didn't really take advantage of it. But then he realized, hey, you know what? This is actually a good opportunity to engage, perhaps get some buyers. And so through 3 days of door knocking about 12 homes, so it wasn't even that many homes, he was able to connect with two sellers where he said one's going to list in January, one is likely going to list in February, March with him. And then he's got the two buyers who were renting single family homes in neighborhoods where they're mostly homeowners who wanted to buy a home, couldn't find a home in the area that they wanted. And because he was door knocking, was able to talk with them and, show how good he is on the listing side, they really got a lot of confidence in him from that. And what a phenomenal way to put in $2.7 million into your pipeline like that. And, and I always appreciate that because as a agent who closed $32 million last year, he knows what he's talking about. Someone says, I'm cutting in and out. My internet, thank you, Priya. My internet, and it might be because I'm doing Zoom as well. So Priya, do me a favor and let me know if it's too bad or not. Because what I'm doing is I got the Zoom going, and then I've also got the lives going. So it could be a little bit dicey. Maybe I'm flirting with, maybe I'm flying too close to the sun. So yeah, let's just kind of see how that works out. All right. And the dashboard. Let me show you the email that a few people have sent out and they've gotten listing appointments. If you scroll down, thinking of selling after the holidays, read this. So I sent this out. These are just to other real estate agents in my account. But this email right here, when you click on it, if you haven't used it yet, it'll open up into an editor. You can edit it if you want, copy, throw it into Lofty, throw it into Follow Up Boss, send it through Listings to Leads, wherever you want, or you can do even all of it. And the point of this email is to let and this is good for your seller leads. This is not just for expireds. This is for your entire database. And so it starts off with, if you're thinking about selling, there are a lot of serious buyers around the holidays, but that a lot of homeowners are thinking about waiting till after the holidays, February, March, into January, when it's going to be a little bit more crowded. Could be a lot more crowded with a lot more homes coming to the market. And so if they are thinking about selling, there's a lot of serious buyers around during the holiday season. And then this link right here is linking to, I'll show you, if I go to my listings dashboard, and this is all set up for you. The link will be to your version of this, and it's going to be to your flipbook presentation. So when you sign up for Listings to Leads, or if you have a Listings to Leads account, this will be your version. So your logo, your picture, your colors, your font, and whatever listing you want to select to populate through here. And they can scan the QR code. They can see your marketing suite. Obviously, you can add other things if you want to the email. But let's go back to the email. And I'll wrap up on that email before I get into a few other things here. So there we go. Thinking of selling after the holidays. So it's got the link for people to click, and then it offers if they would like to see it customized for their home. And so obviously, if you're a Listings to Leads client, you know you can create these where the homeowner's name and address are on the cover. You can have it so that every image in here, including the cover and I believe, yep, the front cover has the homeowner's home in it. So when you're having a listing presentation, obviously you want to be doing that. But for your A leads, so for those A expireds, the A canceleds, the A FSBOs, right, the luxury listings, the high end listings, it could be very, very powerful to actually put their home in that presentation so that when they're looking at it, they're not just looking at a home, but they're looking at their home. And that way, when they scan the QR code, right? So when they scan the QR code or they send the text that is in the booklet here, they're going to be looking at their home. So if you can see right there in the camera, when they scan that QR code, that is their home that they're going to be bringing up on their phone, and that is so powerful. So, and then it ends. The email here ends with, "We understand that selling during the holidays isn't convenient for everybody. That we totally understand, but that we're always ready to help them get their home sold with our 100 plus point home marketing plan." So yeah, I've already had a few people tell me they've got this, got great response from this, and I'll tell you another agent, and where I got the idea from for this was one of our clients sent that link to 173 seller leads in our database, 17 conversations, and got a listing in under 10 days. John sent it to 50 leads and he got a listing in about a week. So super powerful, or not, I'm sorry, listing presentation coming up this Saturday, but he feels very strong about it. He's talked to the seller. They're excited about it. One of the other things I want to share for those of you who, whether it's a listing presentation, or again, you're talking to an expired, you're talking to a FSBO, you're talking to a canceled homeowner, send the full link. All right. So for example, I got a expired right here for 489 Whitney Lane in Folsom. If this is a listing, so again, if it's like an A lead, right? So it's above a certain price point in a certain area, it's the type of property that to list. I'm going to add them to my account as status, listing presentation, expired, canceled, or FSBO. And then I'm going to send them this link. Send this link before you ever meet with them. Because here's what happens, and this is pretty universal from a lot of people I've talked to. So you can see here, I get this link from you. And I mean, if you really wanted to do it, you could print it up and mail it to them or drop it off to them. But sending it via text or email is great. And so this is what I've heard from people pretty universally is they will send it to the homeowner. The homeowner sees it's their home. They see their name. They see their address on this. And they flip through it. And in this case, I got 26 pages. And they'll go through it, but they're not going to really get into it in detail. So they're just going to flip through it a little bit, right? It's impressive. They're going to be super impressed. And then when you go meet with them, and again, this could be a listing presentation, expired, canceled, FSBO. When you go meet with them, reference this, ask them if they had a chance to take a look at it. And invariably, what they're going to tell you is, and if you've had any experience, you let me know, but invariably, what they're going to tell you is, you know what, I took a look at it. It looks amazing, but I didn't get into it in great detail. Because there's 26 pages. It's a lot. I mean, it looks phenomenal. It looks great. But I mention that because in the beginning, when we were doing this, I was not really promoting that you send this ahead of time because I was thinking, well, they're going to go through it. And then what's the point of you going through it again? But most of the people I'm talking to, this has been a super beneficial thing to send as part of a pre-listing packet. So if your pre-listing packet is sent via email, you got the link right here that you can send. If your pre-listing packet is something that you actually print up and drop off or mail, then you got this version right here. So either way, use this as part of your pre-listing packet. All right. Any questions on that from anybody, whether you're on StreamYard or Zoom? All right. Awesome. Let me see. Give me a second here. Oh, got to bring up the chat. All right. The listing presentation. All right. Here's another update that we just did recently. So for expired and canceled in particular, notice I've got this headline. I specialize in getting homes sold that other agents couldn't in Placer County. All right. So it's not an address. That is not for a specific listing. That is for all of the expireds in the area. And you can do the same for a FSBO, and you can do the same for the seller leads in your database. I'm going to show you that next. But what I want you to look at right here is the tagline on the front and back cover. I specialize in getting homes sold that other agents couldn't in Placer County. And that is a home that is not of any particular listing, but I used another home image in my area. I put it in ChatGPT and I said, I don't want to use a home that would be recognized by anybody. All right. I don't want some homeowner finding out that I'm marketing with their home on my in my marketing. So I took a picture of a home in the area, put it into ChatGPT. You can use Gemini, whatever you want. And I just said, I want to use this home in my marketing, but I don't want anyone to recognize it. Change the color of the home from like dark brown to light brown, or gray to brown, or brown to whatever. Change the garage door from this color to that color. And instead of making it a single door, make it a 2-door. In this case, I did the opposite. In this case, there was no palm tree in the yard. If I go back here, on the cover, you can see a little bit better. So you can see kind of the little peak of the palm tree right there. So there was no palm tree for this home. The landscaping was different. So I said, change the landscaping, and even change the windows. Even the window, like this looks so natural, but the windows of the original photo or the original home were not a little bit different. So it's a great way to show people in this area a home that looks familiar, but that is not anyone's home in particular. And then I'm going to show you back here, I can do the same for a listing status, listing presentation. And again, you're going to see, instead of having a address, I've got the 100 plus point home marketing plan to get homes sold in Placer County. And if I click on the flip book, you'll see here, again, another typical home that's not of any particular home in the area. But again, I took another picture of a home, and you could do this at the neighborhood level. I mean, imagine if I wanted to do a particular neighborhood, or a lot of times neighborhoods have kind of general, it could be the size of the home, right? Some, maybe they're mostly 4.5s, 2.3s. So the home could reflect that neighborhood. And I could send this out through my database to the home neighborhood, or based on the city, or just to my entire sales area. So this would be a phenomenal one right here to send to my database. And so what I would do is I would grab that URL and I would go to, I'm going to bring up Bitly. And what I want to do is I want to create a custom short URL so that it looks a lot more attractive to the people getting it. All right. So I'm going to drop that flipbook link right here in Bitly and just click create your Bitly. And so that's our link. So I can click on that and it will open up the flipbook. Okay, that's great. But it's a little bit sloppy looking, right? 3XRUDVO. But if I click view link details, and then I can come over here where it says edit, there's a little pencil, edit, and then edit back half. And instead of showing this 3X blah, blah, blah stuff, I'm going to do your Placer home. Placer being the county. I don't need to say county. Everybody knows what I'm referring to, and that's probably the same in your area. And now if I go save, I have a much more attractive link that I could use in my emails, in my text messages to my seller leads. And then I could share this with all of my seller leads. And that's essentially what Tina did to 173 seller leads, 17 conversations, one listing in under 10 days, like between 7 and 10 days. She'll probably get more from that based on the fact that she had 17 conversations. So I'm sure more of those conversations are going to be leading to listings in this some point in the near future. All right. So now when I click on that link, again, it opens up the same thing as the other one did, but it's just a lot cleaner looking. So whether I use that in a email or I use that in a text message, now I've got a much shorter, much cleaner looking link that, again, instead of just having nonsense at the end of bit.ly, it's got something that people are going to engage with more. It's going to get more clicks than the other link would have, and it's going to help me get more conversations and more listings going. And same thing with the canceled. Same thing with FSBO. I thought it was awesome. But a little tip here, and we do this in our training for our FSBO training, which is Gwen called up a FSBO that she wanted to list, had been in the market for a little bit, and she took a investor with her to the FSBO, which I thought was really smart. And she called the FSBO up. She said, "Hey, I've got a buyer. I'd like to come by and preview your property with my buyer." And you can do this without having a buyer with you, right? So you probably got a lot of buyers in your database. And so it's a great way to meet the FSBO homeowner, preview the property. You could use that as your, kind of off-market presentation. Don't give away the address unless you've got a buyer representation. You're going to bring the buyer to the property. So I wouldn't give away the property's address or photos, but I would give a little bit of blurb about the property to your database if you want to promote it. But so she took the investor to the property. The homeowner or the investor passed, wasn't interested in it. And so she has continued conversations with that homeowner. And now she's taking the FSBO presentation to the homeowner because it's been a little while. And she will put his home in the booklet, the complete marketing plan for sale by owner, the owner's name, the owner's address, right? And again, she's kept in contact with them. The owner is out of state, and so the owner is coming into state. They have a meeting set up, and she's been dealing with the person that the showing was done with, like a neighbor, right? So and then the neighbor connected her with the homeowner. That part of it's a little bit doesn't really matter so much. But now she's got a beautiful presentation for that FSBO. So these are some of the most important markets, some of the most important niches that you've got: expireds, canceleds, FSBOs, and those seller leads in your database. And we know from experience from our clients in all markets, the quicker I can get this in front of somebody that is a homeowner, especially a homeowner that's thinking about selling, the quicker I'm going to get that listing signed. It's just hands down, the quicker I get this in front of people, whether it's via the link online, whether it is a hard copy via mail or door knock or drop off, the quicker I get this in front of them and continue my normal follow-up, the quicker I'm going to get that listing signed. So let's see, we've got, if I come back into listings, in fact, let me show you, because you keep seeing me pick these up like this, but I haven't shown you. So for any of them, to go ahead and click on the address or the title, and right here, download, and there's download PDF, and there's download JPEG. We do the JPEG into a zip file because if you're using Mailbox Power, and there's some other programs as well that you could have these printed, they require a JPEG format. So if you're going to print at home like I did with this one, then just go ahead and use the PDF and that'll be fine. All right. Normally we go for 30 minutes on this. Any questions? If you are not in our expired group, let me show you really quickly. If you're a client of Listings to Leads, and let me bring that up. I'm going to bring it over from my other monitor. So if you are a client of Listings to Leads, get access, request access to this. It's the Expired and Seller Lead Pipeline Accelerator. This is where there's a lot of great stuff in here. And one of the most important things is the featured post, the daily action plan to engage and list expireds. Go ahead and click again right there. And this will bring you to a Google Doc where I've got the Zoom calls right here where you can join us every day, 7 a.m. and 4 p.m. If you don't have a data provider for expireds, for FSBOs, and then eventually for neighborhood data for like circle prospecting around a listing, for $70, 30-day free trial. And if you let them know you're with Listings to Leads via our affiliate link, they will give you 6 months worth of back data, which is very, very important. We've got our call script. And so what you do is you'll click on these links. And someone had an issue with this the other couple of weeks ago. She didn't realize. Then you click on that one again, that one. And then so we got 2 different scripts for the phone. One, if you get them on the phone, and that's this script right here, right there, is for voicemail. And that is because a lot of times the voicemail will be text transcription. And we want to make sure that we get out the idea or the fact that we've got a 100-point expired marketing plan. And if we wait to mention that down the road, they're going to hang up on us. Or they're not even going to listen to the voicemail because they're going to see it coming through via text. And if you do the normal, hey, this is Scott Pierce with XYZ Realty, blah, 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 you've immediately become a spam phone call. But if what they see in the text transcription is their name and 100+ point expired marketing plan in the first line, the likelihood of them continuing with that are much greater. So that's for the text, or that's for the that is for the voicemail. Then we got the 4 text sequence, and we've actually broken this out for A, B, and C leads. So for your A leads, there's actually only 3 text messages. These are very similar to the text messages that JJ was using to get 4 listings in 6 weeks. And then for the B and C leads, they're a little bit different. And so whether you use your phone or a service like Lofty or Follow Up Boss, or if you're doing it out of something like RedX or another program, you can load these up. And for the A leads, right, or luxury leads, or higher price leads, again, whether it's a seller lead, expired, canceled, or FSBO, these are the 3 for that. And we break them out because for these are going to be specific to their property. All right. So these links and the language around it is just a little bit different because it's of their property. All right. And then we show them their single property website. And if you scroll down, they can take a look at it. All right. A lot of great stuff in here for them. We let them know that we do professional videos for all of our listings. If you do video, we let them know we do all of our listings. If you do 3D tours, so you can add that in there. And then for the B and C leads, those links are always the same. And so you'll see here, for an example, right? There's no homeowner name on the cover. There's no address on the cover. This is just a sample home of my area. And so this link is the same for all of my B and C leads. If you want to use this for your A leads, you totally can. I just like the idea. If I got a $1 million listing, I want to add them to my account and I want to get their home in front of them as quickly as possible. But for those B and C leads are lower in price, maybe they're a little bit further out, maybe the condition of the home maybe isn't as good. Uh, then for those B and C leads, I'm going to just use this group of text messages. And it's interesting because there's actually an extra text message in the B and C group. And that is because we are offering by, I think, the second or third link, or by the third text right here, we are offering to put their home in the plan. So if they don't respond from the first text, the second text, we are offering, hey, would you like to have your home featured in my 100 plus point home marketing plan? Assuming the idea is if they say yes to that, then, and they're expired. And this could also be for seller leads. We have a lot of people use these for seller leads as well. If they say yes to that, then the likelihood of them thinking about selling is going to be a lot higher. And what I might actually do before I do that custom for them, maybe I call them up quickly. Hey, thank you for requesting this. I'm going to get it over to you. Would you prefer it via text, or would you like it via email, or a hard copy that I can bring over to you? And then just qualify them a little bit and just find out. I tell people, I don't care if they want to sell in March, April, May, January, February, because I'm going to keep doing these activities on a consistent basis. So as long as I'm filling up my pipeline with serious sellers, that is all good. There's no problem with that. So regardless, as I keep scrolling down, then we've got our door knocking. A lot of people are having amazing success door knocking. I would say door knocking is probably one of the fastest ways to get engaged with people. Calling and texting is phenomenal, right? DNC, all of that, make sure you're compliant. Going through a little bit more, but obviously you can do it from your office, you can do it from your home, so it's a little bit easier that way. Door knocking, a great way to do door knocking is try to get 3 to 4 expireds in an area that you can go door knock at once, so that you're not driving yourself ragged. We don't want to be driving all over the place and wasting an entire afternoon. One of the things that Scott said in the video here is that it's not the most efficient use of his time, but it's the most effective use of his time. So in an hour, can I call, ostensibly 30, 40 people in 1 hour? I can. But when I go door knocking, okay, sure, I'm only going to be able to get through maybe 3 or 4 people, but the likelihood of me connecting with somebody and having a great conversation can be a lot higher. But at the end of the day, people have luck, have success with all of it. So, again, I would call, I would text, I would email. That would be my first go around. Then if it's a listing in particular, I would go door knock it. And then we've got the letters. I mean, it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. So we got the expired letter. That includes a QR code and a URL. I'm sorry, a QR code and a call to action right in the letter. So we're going to put a picture of the homeowner's home at the top. And it's so funny. So normally I use ChatGPT for these photos and it works out great. For this one, I was using Gemini, and Gemini could not get that home looking better than that. So, and my prompts, actually, I did Gemini 3 times. I used the same prompt as I did in ChatGPT, and then it just spit out the same. It's a Google Street View image, and it just spit out the same image back at me. In fact, let me see if I go to, let me bring up ChatGPT, and I'm going to go new chat, and let me see if I do this. So imagine you go to, because sometimes if you have somebody says, yeah, I'd love to see my home in your marketing, or you get a listing presentation and you can't find a good photo of the property, going to Google Street View. Now you could obviously go take a photo of the property, but check this out. And I'm going to bring this over. So that was the Google Street View image. And I'm going to say, please make this And you don't have to spell everything perfectly. Realistic for use in my marketing for this home in my real estate. In the group, I got better prompts than this, but let's just see what happens. The only bad thing about ChatGPT is it takes longer. Gemini is a lot quicker, but it's just like 2 days ago. It was just absolutely nuts. And I did it 3 different times, and every time it would just return garbage back at me. So I'm gonna let that cycle through for a minute and let me finish up here. So again, if you're a client of ours, get into this Facebook group. Then we got posts worth reading, email that got a listing. So this was, yeah, we got I didn't even show you the emails. So this is one of our clients. He sent this email starting with hello Marina. Now this is pretty involved. This is a very very involved email that this guy wrote. He's very tech savvy. And so he, again, you can use My Plus Leads, you can use Redx, you can use Forewarn, whatever. You get the email. And this was an out-of-state homeowner that he listed. And so this was the Zillow link. And then he took the video from Listing to Leads. So this is the Listing to Leads video that he used. So that's in your media library. That's just a video version of the PDF and flipbook. Then he got the flipbook. And then he downloaded the PDF, put it into a Dropbox. And so there's the PDF. And then he's got another link right here to how he does business. Kind of like an About Me video. Now that is a very involved email. And if you know how to do all of this stuff, great. In the version I've got for you in the group, I use the Zillow link and just the flipbook. And if you want to use the video at your website, you can do that as well. But this is a lot. And really, 3 of these things are kind of the same. So, hey, if you are pretty tech savvy and you want to develop that email, go for it. But I think for most use cases, you don't need to go that crazy. Yeah, and there we go. Look at that. So that's a Google Street View. And I could use that. I could download this picture, upload it into Listings to Leads, create the booklet, right? And then have the flip book ready to send. I could have the hard copy I could print up and door knock with. And again, I would start off with calling. I would then call. And then if I don't get a hold of them that way, I might door knock with them or door knock them. Yeah, look at that. I mean, that's the original. And that is the new one. And the homeowner's going to be like, damn, that's pretty good. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. If you are a client and you got questions on this, get into the group. Let me show you. If you're in your account, let me see here. The golden letter emails for pending listings as a listing or selling agent. Man, check that out. That's so good. And let me see. There should be a link. Well, you know what you do? Go to marketing calendar. Let's do this. I'll just show you this way real quickly. And go to marketing calendar and resources. Go to the Facebook mastermind group. Pretty much anybody can join the regular mastermind group. And as long as you're a client, just say, please add me to the expired seller lead group. And again, we do FSBO, we do expired, we do canceled. So it's kind of all lumped together. But if you or just say even the expired group, I'll know what you mean. And we'll get you added to that quickly as possible. All right. All right, people, listen, 2026 is coming. There is going to be a lot of expireds. Our clients are putting literally millions of dollars into the pipeline, and within like a week or two, they are starting. They are getting listings and they're finding buyers. All right. The last thing let me show you here, which I thought was absolutely amazing, is not only did Scott Murray get 2 buyers, but our client Leo, let me just scroll down. I want to find this because this is from last week. Leo, he's gotten 3 transactions. So he says here, I recently secured an expired listing, and so they're going to list it in the spring. He got the listing agreement signed already, so that's awesome. But that he helped him buy a home in New Hampshire. And then he connected with another expired who decided not to sell, but wants to buy the house next door. And again, that goes a long way to when you get this in the hands of a homeowner and they see you got 24 to 26 page marketing plan to get a home sold, they know you're serious. They know you're good. And so they're going to trust you with other things as well, like the buy side. So even, and again, Scott Murray, Leo here, right? And I know there's been another person as well who got a buyer, kind of a double, a seller who to buy. There's more to this. And I'll tell you, another client got an investor, 20 homes. So it was an expired seller. Turned out the seller also owns another 20 homes. Super impressed with the presentation. And I think she's going to have some more opportunity with that investor. And then another client got a hold of a builder the same way. All right. The builder had an expired property. The guy went to him with the presentation. The builder was blown away. The builder's got more inventory. So now this agent has more opportunity to do business with that guy because of the presentation. All right. So we want to get these out to as many people as possible, whether it's for a specific home or it's the general one for the area based on the niche. All right. Seller lead, FSBO, expired, or canceled. And we're going to get a lot more business from it. So again, if you have any questions, let our support team know. Get into the mastermind group, and we'll talk to you soon.